Hey everybody, it's me Stacey here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and it's time for YouTube number 224, Saturday with Stacey YouTube number 224. Now this is the YouTube where we have that super special spectacular savings deal from Sizzix. Super spectacular savings deal from Sizzix. That was a lot of S's. I talked about it last week when we had Mr. Big Shot come visit me from Ellison, David from Ellison, and he brought Sarah with him, who is just a love, and they showed me some product that has never, ever been at any other retail store with the exception of one. And it is a box store. And they said, Stacey, we did these designs for them, and this is the overrun we have left. They're not going to take them. Would you be interested in them? And of course, my ears perk up, but I put my game face on. Maybe. Inside, I'm like, oh, but my game face is like, well, maybe, perhaps. What do they look like? And then he showed them to me, and then he told me the price, and okay, I had to break out in a smile and go, oh, happy dance, happy dance. So this is that YouTube where I show you what we have, which is a buy one, get two free, and we're the only place you're going to be able to get it unless you found it at the box store, which probably had it at full retail price, but I can't wait to show it to you. However, I can't just do a YouTube because I got a super saving special from Sizzix. I have to teach you something too. So I really thought long and hard about it because I wanted to incorporate things that you may already have in this YouTube. I'm excited to show you the Sizzix product and how to use it and what you're going to get. But I'm equally as excited to show you something that if you've been a long-term crafter, well, you already know this. But if you haven't been, this may be something new and eye-opening to you and so easy. And it's about inks and paper. And I'm excited to do that for you because yes, absolutely, I want you to take advantage of the Sizzix Super Saving Special deal we've got from them. But more importantly, I want you to use what you've got in your stash as well. I want you to get in there and be creative right now. So I have got winner chicken dinner to talk about. I'm going to do that. I'm going to announce them. I'm going to ask that if you hear your name on this YouTube, woohoo for you. How do you claim your prize? You're going to email us and you are going to say, I am a winner chicken dinner from YouTube number 223. YouTube number 223, because this is YouTube number 224. So you won from the last YouTube. It is helping Kayla. I mean, so much that you put that in the subject line because then she's able to find you, get your prize, and ship it right on out to you. Yay. So help me help her help you. And if you're a winner chicken dinner, if you hear your name, put in the subject line, I'm a YouTube winner from YouTube number 223. What are you going to win? Well, that was that great Stamperia YouTube. Oh my goodness. All the Stamperia product from Italy, the rice paper that we had, which is like the largest assortment anywhere, it is almost all gone. But don't worry. We'll have more. Not of those. But of the new releases, which I think are going to be releasing in late December, early January. So when those new releases come in, we'll put them on up and they're beautiful. Oh my goodness gracious. So even though we've sold out of most of what we have and Stamperia is really a one and done company, don't worry, there's more coming and they're always just as beautiful and the price is just as affordable because we import them ourselves. Now, for our winners, that's what you're going to win. You're going to win some of that beautiful Stamperia products. But who are you? Well, let me tell you. That's my, oh my, I'm going to butcher your name, but you're going to forgive me look. I can probably do this one pretty easy. Bamblin? Bamblin Howell. Congratulations, Bamblin Howell. I am guessing there's only one of you out there. It's not Mary Smith, or I was Stacey Brown in my maiden day. But Bamblin Howell, congratulations to you. You're a winner chicken dinner here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and you're going to receive some of that Stamperia product. But you're not alone. You have a friend. Your friend is Peggy. Paghetti? Paghetti. I'm going with Paghetti. Pahetti? No, Paghetti. Peggy Paghetti. Congratulations to you too. And if I messed up your name, I'm ever so sorry, but it doesn't matter because you're going to love the Stamperia product that you receive. So remember, how do you claim your prize? Go to scrapbookingmadesimple.com, find the winner chicken dinner link, follow the directions, and in the subject line put I am a YouTube winner from YouTube number 223, and Kayla will confirm that you're a winner, and then we will send you your prize right on out to you. Congratulations to you. Also, I have been posting on Facebook. Please remember, if you don't do Facebook, that's okay. Not a problem. Our Facebook page is public, so you don't have to be a member of Facebook to look at our postings. So you can go Google Scrapbooking Made Simple Facebook page and click it from there, and you can't post anything to win any of the prizes, but you can watch the videos because we're doing updates on the Shop That Didn't Hop and the warehouse sale. And I just did one yesterday that shows all the stuff that's down there that's still being unpacked. But that's where we post a lot of the updates. So remember, you don't have to have a login or be a member of, you don't have to have a profile page. We're a public page, so you can see our page at any time to find out what's going on and information, because that's where it's at. I try to put it in the emails as well. So if you're not on our email list, go to scrapbookingmadesimple.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom and join our email list, because I try to give you updates as well on email. All right, so today we have got inks from Kaisercraft. We've got dies and embossing folders and stamps from Sizzix, and some gel pens from Kaisercraft. So things that I think you probably already have in your stash, but I'm hoping to show you maybe something you didn't know that you could do with them. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Now, I am going to start by showing you the product that we have from Sizzix, because it is limited. We only have so many, and I want you to see it. And that way, if you say, no, it's not for me, we'll still watch the video, because there's a technique in it. There is. And if you say, oh my gosh, yes, I have to have those, then you can go and order them, come back and finish the video, because there's a technique in it. But I want to get it out of the way. That way you can make up your mind right away whether it's for you or not. Now, the box store that the product was in is Hobby Lobby. I can't even imagine how many Hobby Lobbies there are out there, like, I don't know, 1,000 of them. So they were in Hobby Lobby for $19.99 a set, which was a value price because you got the embossing folder, the stamps, and the dies. They really should have retailed for $24.99, but because they were at Hobby Lobby, they were for $19.99 each. I have all 3 sets, and I have all that's left of them. And we're doing all 3 sets for the $19.99. So buy 1, get 2 free. And I think you're going to love what you see. I'm going to tilt on down. I'm going to go through that first, and then we're going to get started and play a little bit. I just didn't want to wait to the end in case this is something you really wanted, or you know right away it's not for you, but you want to see the technique. Woohoo! All right, I'm going to tilt on down, and we're going to get started for today. See my little elves on the shelf? Those arrived today for me. So I thought I would show them off real quick. My little elves on, I've never had an elf on the shelf. Now I have a few of them. Love, 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 love. All right, so I'm gonna zoom on and, oh, look at how good that was. I'm gonna maybe move over a little bit and tilt on down. I know we're very high tech here. Oops, wrong direction. I think that's pretty good. Okay, I think that's where I'm gonna stay. All right, so this is the card that they are making downstairs. We have a free make and take every Saturday. Maybe twice a year I have to not do it because I'm traveling, but pretty much as right as rain, we have a make and take on every Saturday, and this is featuring some of the product from Sizzix, one of the sets. I think what I like most about the sets is they're all interchangeable. You can use them, you can use aspects of each set with the different sets, or you could just use the embossing folders. Anyway, we used Kaisercraft gel pins to color. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get to the gel pins today or not, but I am going to put them on a YouTube Yummy because we used them in the make and take. Really cute. So if you ever are available on a Saturday and you're in sunny California, come see me, because it truly is me sitting at the end of the table hosting the make and take and doing it with you. So come visit. I'd love to have you. All right, so I'm going to put that aside. And I'm going to bring over the first set, which is the one I just showed you. So these are the sets from Sizzix that were done for Hobby Lobby. This one was done by Jen Long. Now, you get the stamps. Let's see if I can find a piece of paper. There we go. You get the stamps. You get the embossing folder, and you get all of the dies that go with the stamps. So you get the cute little flamingo bird is right there, and to cut the little heart is right, geometric heart, and to cut the pineapple and the flower is right there, and the stand tall words is right there, and then you get another set of words that are just die cuts. You get all of this. So normally this would be $4.99 by itself, and this would be $19.99 for $24.99, but because it was at Hobby Lobby, they did it for a $19.99 special, which is a really good deal. And because we're buying what's left, you get that whole set. Plus, let's move on, shall we? This is, I don't know, these two sets are probably my favorite sets. I like these two a lot because they're very, very, very useful. One, you get all the words. Thankful and grateful, you are loved, enjoy, for you. All the stamps. You get the embossing folder, and then you get the dies, and the words from the stamps fit in the frames. Really darling. I've got the samples to show you of this. It's so cute. So all three, but of course, if you love this embossing folder, there's no reason why you couldn't use that with your flamingo. Or if you loved this embossing folder and you needed something more guy related, a little more masculine, there's no reason why you couldn't use You Are Loved with this embossing folder. You have options. Everything mixes and matches. All right, so that's two. The last one is the one we're going to be working with today. And again, you've got the stamp sets. And it's got thank you, thinking of you. It's got flowers. It's got love you. It's just a great stamp set. But then you have the embossing folder, which is a great embossing folder. And then you've got all the dies to cut all the stamps out with. So the frames and the flowers coordinate with the flowers, and the leaves all together. And it's all of it, every last bit of it is going to come to you, all three sets, for $19.99, not the $59 that almost $60 that Hobby Lobby was charging for them if you were to have bought all three. And again, they were already at a value price at Hobby Lobby because of course they get the opportunity to really negotiate because they're huge. I mean, huge. But we're happy to take the leftovers and offer them to you at a price where even if you loved two of them, and weren't so crazy about this one, you're still getting a tremendous value. Or if you needed gifts, and here you've got 3 for $19.99, that comes to $6.33 a set. That's a great price. The perceived value, like I said, is high on these. Nobody needs to know that you only paid $6.33 for them. Or you can take them to a crop, you can take them to your club, and you've got enough different elements that can be layered and mixed and matched between them that 3 sets will make, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine how many different cards or layouts or altered art or mixed media that you could use them for. You may just be an embossing folder girl. You keep the embossing folders and give the dies and stamps to your friends who die and stamp, who die, cut, and stamp. The nice thing is they all work together. They give you kind of a guy-related one with the background here. I love the embossing folder because it's a little more masculine. You've got the really pretty, and then you've got words and elements that are going to work throughout the whole year. So if you like it, you can pause and go and get it. And if you don't like it, well then let's just keep on rolling, shall we? Rolling, do, 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 rolling, do, do, do. They've got the radio going on in the other room and I can hear it. All right, we're gonna be playing with this set today. And I'm gonna be doing the embossing, and I'm gonna be doing some die cutting, and I'm gonna be doing some stamping. But first things first, let's talk ink. All right, I have got just a white piece of paper here. I might just trim it down. I've got a white piece of paper here. Just a piece of white cardstock. And we've talked ink before. We've talked about the CDPs of ink, C being a chalk-based ink, D being a dye-based ink, P being a permanent-based ink. And the CDPs of ink will tell you how quickly those inks will dry. And that's an important thing to know when you're stamping, or if you want to do heat embossing, because a C, a chalk ink, will not let you throw embossing powder over the top of it and heat it, nor will a dye ink. A chalk ink dries very fast. It's the closest letter in the alphabet, A, B, C. Dries very fast, almost like this. So if you want to be able to stamp something and have it dry quickly and move on, well, a chalk-based ink works well. Dye-based ink, that's D. That's right next to C in the alphabet. A, B, C, D. So C is right next to D. That means a dye-based ink dries almost as fast as a chalk-based ink. And most inks on the market are a dye-based ink, including Tim Holtz Distress Ink, Memento, Lawn Fawn, I believe, is a dye-based ink. Almost every ink on the market is a dye-based ink that we go to ink for us. So a dye-based ink is going to stay wet just a little bit longer than a chalk-based ink, but it's your best all-purpose ink. So C for chalk, D for dye, right next to each other in the alphabet, so they dry almost as quickly. Then we have pigment-based ink. And pigment-based ink is all the way down the alphabet, from D to P. There's a long way in between. Well, pigment-based ink takes the longest to dry. It is the one that doesn't sink into your paper as quickly. It is the one that you can throw your embossing powder on top of and then heat it. It is the ink that will smudge if you're not careful and you think you're using a dye-based ink. And so I don't use chalk-based ink. We don't carry it in the store. I don't really have a big use for it yet, but we do carry a lot of dye-based inks. And that dye-based ink just absorbs right smack into your paper. I mean, the paper's porous and it just goes right into it, which is what you want when you're stamping. You want it to dry fairly quickly. Then you have, well, Tim Holtz also is a dye-based ink, and it dries fairly quickly. It seeps right into the paper because paper's porous, and you're good to go. That's nice. But a pigment-based ink, all the way down. Pigment-based ink is going to stay wet and smudge longer. You can smudge your pigment-based ink. That's because it stays wet long enough for you to put embossing powder on top of it and then heat it, like clear embossing powder. Where the other two, you're not going to get the smudges. A pigment-based ink, you absolutely are going to get smudges if you move it too quickly. That's what it does. So pigment-based ink has an absolute place in your arsenal, in your stash of goodies. It has a place when you need that ink to sit on top of paper longer as opposed to absorbing into paper. These absorbed right in. This, in fact, I can still smudge it. Yeah, I can still smudge it. This is going to stay on top, which is why when we did, if you remember, we did those little MDF calendars and we used the mini calendars and I colored the MDF with pigment-based ink because it left an opaque color without having to use a paint. It dried, took a little bit longer, it dried, but it left this beautiful smooth finish where one of these inks was yucky against the MDF. It just absorbed in and it looked black and it was just awful. So if you ever have a question about ink and you're not sure what ink to use with your project, remember if you know your ABCs, then you know your CDPs. Chalk, dye, pigment. Chalk. I think Colorbox makes a lot of chalk inks. Dries super fast. Really, really fast. It's great for edging around the edge, the sides of your paper because it dries super fast. Dye-based ink is the most common ink. All the mementos that we use, Tim Holtz, there's lots of dye-based inks out there. They dry almost as fast as chalk ink, but are your all-purpose everyday inks. And then your pigment ink, because D to P in the alphabet's a long way away, so P takes a long time to dry, well, a longer time to dry, is what you want to use when you need that ink to sit on top a little bit longer. All right, why did I do all of that? Well, okay. Because I want to play with black paper today. I want to play with black paper. Now, I will tell you, wahoo kachoo, it took 2 years, literally 2 years, but I now have my Simply Defined 100-pound black paper. You wouldn't think black paper would be so hard to manufacture. We've always had Simply Defined 80-pound black paper, always. I've had that from the get-go. But I wanted 100-pound because we have 80-pound white and 100-pound white. But the blacks had to match between the 80-pound and the 100-pound. You needed to be able to put them side by side and not be able to see the difference. The only reason you could tell is if you picked it up and felt the weight. I cannot even begin to tell you how difficult it was to get matching black. But if you're a girl and you've ever been shopping for black, or white for that matter, there's a million shades of black. There's a million shades of white, and matching 2 blacks is not the easiest thing in the world. So it finally happened after 2 years and it's here. But what I want to do is play with black paper. Now remember, I had my memento ink. I'm putting it on black. What do you see? Not a whole, you can tell it's wet, you can tell it's there, you can tell I inked. Oh, now it's drying, so it's getting harder to tell. But not a whole heck of a lot. Looks just like a water stain, and that's about it. Why? Because that ink absorbed right into the paper. Even though on white, that's the color. You don't get that when you put it on black. Let's talk about Tim. Great ink. Looks great on white. Not so much on black. So your Stampin' Up! Ink is gonna do this. Gosh, I don't know. There's just a lot of dye-based inks. It's the most common ink out there. However, when you get to a pigment-based ink, ta-da! Look at that. Big difference comparative to your other two dye-based inks that just soaked right into the black paper and that color was absorbed by the black. A pigment-based ink is going to sit on top of the paper. It will dry, it will absorb in, but it will take a little bit longer. So what am I gonna do with it? Well, we're gonna play. I'm gonna grab a piece of black paper and I'm gonna grab my embossing folder that's part of the bundle set. And this is how the bundle, I don't know that it'll come to you in the little poly bag. This is how we do it for downstairs for the retail store. But all three will be in there. All three sets will be in there. It retails for $59.97. Your price is $19.99 for all of them. That's a great deal. All right, so I'm going to take my black paper and I'm going to put it inside my embossing folder. Now, what's the difference between 80-pound paper and 100-pound paper? Well, the thickness. When you feel it, you can tell. Oh, this one's lighter than that one. If I were to pick this up, I can tell this is lighter than that. You can feel it. And 80-pound paper is a beautiful weight paper. We use it all the time. 100-pound paper is a little bit nicer. And when you're embossing, the heavier your paper, the deeper your emboss can be. So I'm going to bring it on over. I'm bringing over my Big Shot machine, which is the machine we're using right now at Scrapbooking Made Simple. I tell you, there's so many machines on the market. I've been playing with different machines and we're still with the Big Shot, but I am playing with a couple different machines to see if there's anything I like. Maybe you should tell me, is the Big Shot your go-to machine? Maybe that's what you should post for being a chance to be a winner chicken dinner. What die cut machine do you own, or what die cut machine do you wish you owned? We've been using the Big Shot for so long. It's just my go-to. I know it. I love it. It's fail-proof, but with so many different machines on the market, I thought maybe I better take a look. But I think that you're probably the best people to ask. So I am using my smaller multi-purpose platform. The machine you buy is going to come with a larger multi-purpose platform. Is that bad? No, it's just bigger. This is the smaller one. This came back after I begged and cried and pleaded for years. And they finally brought this back. I like this the smaller one better because 90% of my dies, 90% of the dies out there fit on the smaller platform. Now, if you have the larger one, don't worry. Everything that I'm going to do on this small one, you're going to do identical on your larger one. And if you find that your larger one is a little cumbersome and you want the smaller one, we'll put it on a wish list. Send somebody oh, I sure would love to have this small multi-purpose platform. I think they retail for $29.99 and I think you'll be very happy with it. So I have got my small multi-purpose platform. I'm going to be opening it up to tab 1 because I'm going to be using an embossing folder. Doesn't matter whose translucent embossing folders you use, whether they be Doris or mine, Simply Defined, or Sizzix, or whose ever translucent embossing folder. If you can see through it, it's translucent. I'm gonna put my Do Not Cut plate down. This happens to be the ruby red glitter cut plate that is exclusive here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. I'm gonna put another cut plate on top and I'm gonna send it on through. And it's just gonna roll on through. Now you can send it through just once. I'm gonna roll it back just for ease. It doesn't have to be rolled back. One time is more than enough. Pull it out. And there's my beautiful embossing. Now, I think black paper, with the exception of using it as a mat, a lot of people use it to mat pictures. I think black paper is probably one of the most underutilized papers there is on the market. We all have black paper, but who wants to necessarily send an all black card or make an all black tag with unless it's for Halloween or something kind of spooky-ish. You know, you want something pretty. You want it to be bright and happy and pretty, but it's black paper. So how do you accomplish that? That's where the pigment dyes come in. Now we're using the Kaisercraft pigment dyes, and the reason I'm using Kaisercraft is because they're inexpensive. They have 15 colors, which is enough. Okay, I take that back. I would like a few more colors in the arsenal. So I'm working on that with Kaisercraft. I would like to have a few more colors, but they last for a really long time. They're $1.99 each. I'm pretty sure they're $1.99. We'll have them on a YouTube Yummy, and it allows you to have lots of different colors without spending a fortune. Lots of different colors. Can you stamp with these and just use them as a regular ink? Sure, you can. I will. Do you have to let them dry just a hair bit longer than a dye-based ink? Yes, because D and P are far away. But if you stamp something and put it aside for a few minutes, it'll be dry and you're good to go. However, if you want to be able to color black paper, you need a pigment-based ink. Now, I've got my saffron yellow here because I always start with yellow. I don't know, yellow's my go-to undertone of everything. And you always want to start with your lightest color. And I'm just gonna slowly swirl over it. Now, I like the size of these. I like anything mini because they're easy to hold and you're not dealing with this big size pad, so you can get in there and color the whole thing. It almost gives it the look of chalkboard. So I'm going to give it a little bit of yellow all over, not too heavy-handed. And I'm just brushing my ink right over the top. Not too hard, but look at the difference already. Look at the difference already. You know, I'm gonna roll one more through really quickly, just so we have a before and after. How do you know which way your embossing folder goes up? Well, this one's indexed, which means they've printed the pattern on for you, and you've got the little Sizzix emblem down there. So if you've got an embossing folder and it's got the name of the company who manufactured it, or it's printed, you know that's your top, that's your up. I'm just gonna roll this through really quick. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, and back. And that way I have a comparison. Put that over there for now. All right, so I did a little bit of my yellow, just a little, just to add some color to it. If you want more yellow, you can add more yellow. But like I said, you can already see the difference. Already see the difference. Now, I don't know, let's try a little bit of red. And I'm going to put that right on top of my yellow. And I'm just going to do my flowers. And I'm just going to dust it with a little bit of red. So you can see I'm not using any water. I'm not using a paintbrush. I'm not using any special tool. I'm letting the ink pad do it for me. And now I've added a little bit of red. And then I can, let's say, add a little bit of green. Maybe make my leaves a little more green than yellow. Get Get some green in there. And just color. And just change it. Now you can really start to see that embossing come up. But what if I wanted to add my yellow back in? Let this dry for just a little bit. I'm gonna give my yellow a nice little press. Make sure that I've got some ink coming out. And I'm just gonna go back in and just touch and add a little bit of yellow and lighten up that red. It's super easy to do. What happens if I choose to do, let's try the purple. Let's do a dusting of purple. Gives it that chalk-like effect. You can do just one color if you want. You don't have to mix and match. But the nice thing about this is that we all have black paper. And we all have scraps. We all have scraps of cardstock. Now you can take your black paper and your inks and make it work with the scraps you have and use those scraps. Now let's take the blue. And add some of the blue. And look at how bright and happy Look at how bright and happy that is. You can have it more muted. Now, maybe I'll add a little more red back in. Oh, maybe I'll add some orange. Ooh, I like the orange. Oh, love, love, love. Oh. Look at how pretty is that. And I haven't even done anything with the center yet. Oh my gosh. And I love, love, love the blues and the purple. I just don't know if I have a background for it. Oh, I have a deep purple. I don't know that it'll work, but I don't know that it won't. Oh, sure, why not? All done with black paper and some pigment-based ink. Really easy to do. And again, it lets you take the paper that you already have. This is my scrap paper bin. See, it even says I have everything labeled scrap paper. This is my scrap paper bin that every time I do a YouTube, I go in here and I grab paper from. We all have this. Wouldn't it be nice to not have so much of it? Take a couple inks, take your black paper, and make it match. Throw it through an embossing folder and you're good to go. But it has to be pigment-based ink. Now, what happens with the back side? Postman's here. What about the back side? Because this is the positive, this is a negative. See how it's debossed in there? Can you do that too? Why not? You might like the back side better than the front side. This is the debossed side. I think I'm going to put it against the yellow. Maybe you prefer that look over that look. Same embossing folder. I just flipped it over and did the back side. Remember, there's the front side. There's the back side. And if I want to add more ink, I can. Let that dry, and then I could come back in and hit it with maybe a little bit of my pink. I like it. I do, and I think I have a hot pink piece in here. Huh. I do like it. How pretty is that? And this is the back side of the embossing folder. There's the front. I always want to put it upside down. There's the front. Which do you like better? You have a choice. You have an embossing folder that has now given you two totally different looks. And you're using black paper that you haven't used before, that's been sitting there, that you've been matting everything with. Everybody uses it for a mat, but what else are you using it for? Get your pigment-based inks out, and if you don't have any, then get the Kaisercraft, because they're so inexpensive and they will do a beautiful job for you, and you can have lots of colors for not a lot of money. I love, love, love. And because it's the Sizzix bundle, you get 3 embossing folders, which means you actually get 6 if you use the front and the back. Easy to do. But we're not done. We still have the dies and the stamps for this set. We still have the dies and the stamps. So let's see. Do I have another hot pink piece? Oh, I do have another hot pink piece. So, got another hot pink piece. I'm gonna take my die here, and I'm gonna cut out my center. I wish I had a turquoisey piece. I don't think I have a turquoisey piece, but we'll cut it out in pink. So I'm gonna bring my machine back over. And this time, instead of using tab 1 like I did for the embossing folder, I'm gonna use my multi-purpose platform, whether it be long or small. I'm gonna use it completely closed. No little tabs open. And I'm going to put down my cut plate first. Cut plate first, and then my do not cut plate, which is always my glittery one. Or if you want to put your do not cut plate down first, then you put your die face up with the ridges facing you. You see those little ridges in there? You want those ridges facing you, and then your paper, and then your cut plate. Why do we have a do not cut plate? Well, it's nice to keep one plate completely flat with no warpage in it. And every time you cut into a plate, that little cut is putting a little V into your cut plate. And every time it puts that V in there, it just microscopically makes your plate a little bit longer. And that's how it gets warped, because you've cut again and again and again and again and again in the same exact place, usually the center. But if you were to vary some of your cuts up and move your die around your plates, and sometimes do it up at the top over here, and then maybe move your die over there, and flip your plates back and forth so they are equally getting that V, then if one side is getting the V and the other side is getting the V, it will keep them flat longer. Can you put your plates in the oven No, please don't do that. They are plastic. They're not meant to be in the oven. Imagine putting something plastic in the oven, the smell and yucky. Can you put them in hot, hot water and have them straighten out? No, the best way to straighten your plates is to, one, use them correctly, move your dies all the way around and cut into both sides equally. But if you're lazy like me and you've always used just one side and now your plate's totally warped, take the other side and start cutting. You literally just start cutting into that plate. And what happens is it's starting to put those V's equally into, and it's starting to lengthen that plate out, and you will see the warpage actually change. We use our plates until they crack in half. So I've got my do not cut plate down. I have got my die with the cutting ridge facing me. I have got my paper down and my cut plate, and I'm gonna send it on through. Now this is an open frame die, so it only needs to go through once. You don't have to go forward and backwards if you don't want to. It's not intricate. It's gonna cut easy peasy. And it fits right in your space. Now they give you a larger frame that would actually cover the entire frame up. So if you cut this, you would cover, let's just do it super quick because I can. Bring this back. Now I've got a piece that is the same size as the entire outside frame. Same size. So this one covers up the lines. This one fits inside the lines. But what happens if you want a frame that will go around but you still want to see the black in there? Well, you can do that too because they gave you both size dies. You take the largest cut, the largest one that covers all of it, and then you take the smaller one and layer it right inside and cut. This is where having a do not cut plate comes in handy, because I have no warpage. So it's going to slide through really nicely. Because I want to see what I'm cutting, I've changed. I flip-flop. My cut plate is down here now, and my do not cut plate is going to go on top because I want to see the exact alignment of that die going through. And I'm going to send it on through. One cut is all it needs. And what did I make? I made a frame, which can now go over the top, but I still have my black. Ha ha! Which way makes you happy? You have lots of opportunity to mix and match. And then I still have this die here that says for you. And I still have all the flowers that I can cut out and the leaves and the stamps. So I'm gonna cut the for you. Now the for you does not have a cut line anywhere against this outside edge. So that means it's going to cut that for you into whatever paper I want it to be. Let's grab a piece of white. So it's not going to cut this piece out, it's going to cut that for you in. And you're like, Okay, I don't get what she's saying. All right, I understand. I'm coming. Let's bring the machine back on over. So I have a choice because I don't care where I'm putting it. I can put my do not cut plate down here and put my die face up and my paper down and then my cut plate, or I could reverse it. And I'm gonna send it on through. One, I think one roll because it's not an intricate die. Yep, one roll. Do you see what I mean? It didn't cut the entire thing out, it cut into. So how do you get that out? Well, you have to use one of the frame dies to get it out. But, so if I did this, it would cut the whole thing out. But what if I just wanted that for you out? That's all I want. Well, you can either line up the smaller die and send it on through, or you can take your scissors and cut along the line and go snip, 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 and one more. Snip. Bring it right on over. And line it right on up. So, what I want to show you is see where the F is slightly not right and where the U has this little funky tail and where the F isn't here. I'm going to tape this down real quick just so it's not all over. So I'm using Stacey Tape and I'm just going to put, oh well, you have to choose. You can't have, I have to choose because I like this side too. But, oh well. That's the beautiful thing about an embossing folder. One, they last forever. Two, you can do both sides and then decide which one you want to use. Come on. Me and my gel nails. There we go. One. Oh my goodness gracious. There we go. Two. Yay. All right. I'm just going to center it on this real quick. Close enough. I'm going to use a little Stacey tape on my frame. So what I want you to notice is that my Stacey tape is wider than my frame. And Stacey tape is a self-adhesive tape. It is perfect for paper and glitter and beads and metal and acetate. It holds fabric. It holds just about everything. It's longer and stronger and less expensive than most of the other tapes currently on the market. It also doesn't show through when you use it with vellum or acetate. So can you see how it's just a little bit longer than my frame? Don't worry about that. Just get that top liner piece off, and because it's double stick tape, you can just fold it right back into each other, and then put it down. Good enough. And then, remember how I told you, The 4U's got a little funky edge here and edge here. That's okay. That's going to help you line it up. Because those little edges tell you where to put it on your card, because those little edges line up with the edge of the frame. And how cute is that? Let's put a little piece of tape. I'm not going to worry so much about making it hide. I'm just going to get it on there so you can see. And I would definitely use more than this. Or I would use some Stay Put glue or some pop dots. But for now, you will get the idea. So you find up where it lines up. So cute. And we did it just out of scrap paper and some ink, pigment based ink. But can you stamp with pigment based ink? Yes, absolutely you can, without question. So let's take and let's cut real quick. Is my thank you going to fit in the small one? Oh yeah, great. Okay, so I'm going to cut. Do I have another purple? I do. I'm going to cut myself a piece of purple and a piece of white. Purple, white. I'm going to bring my Big Shot machine right back over. I'm going to put my dies facing me because my do not cut plate is down on the bottom, and that really just helps it move through nice and easy, as opposed to you sometimes when they get so warped you're like jimmying it underneath. If you have a do not cut plate, and if you cut into it every now and then, it's okay. I've done that too. It happens. But let's see, do I want the big one out of the purple and the small one out of the white? Good enough. Okay, and I'm going to cut onto this side because this side has been cut into, and I want to try and keep my plates from warping. I'm going to send it through one roll because these are open frame dies, which means they're not intricate at all. Everything just pops right on out. Clean up my mess. I can now put my white paper on top of my purple paper, on top of my card with my purple background, and I can stamp. Now, I've got my Gush Mat. Remember, you don't want to stamp on a solid surface. You need something to sink into. Doris makes a Gush Mat. We used to sell it. It's super big. It's $3.99. We now have our own. It's called the Gush Mat because that's what I call it. It's an 8.5 by 11, so you can cut it. This is a quarter size of it. But don't stamp on a hard surface. You're never going to get a beautiful impression, especially if you're dealing with a big stamp. You need that stamp to sink into something. I'm going to bring my white paper over. I'm going to grab one of my stamp blocks. This is our stamp set that we like a lot. The block set, it's from Do Crafts. It's $12.50 for all of them, including the little storage. This I love because I can't lose anything. I know if I put it right back where it's supposed to go, I won't ever lose it. And a lot of our customers were saying the Tim Holtz grid blocks were a little too hard for them to hold. These are a little beefier, but not so thick that you can't feel the pressure of what you're doing. I'm gonna put my thank you stamp, which comes with the Sizzix set that we're working on. I'm gonna ink it up in purple, light purple, lavender. I'm gonna line it up. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Hopefully I didn't press too hard. No, I didn't quite press hard enough. It's a little light. Let's try again. Turn it over. See if I do it a little bit harder. Zoop. One, two, three, A, B, C. Oh, much better. I've got my thank you now. And I'm good to go. Mount it on a card base and you're done. And we just used scrap paper. We used a set that's running $6.33 for the stamps, the dies, the embossing folders, and you get 3 different sets for the $19.99, so you can mix and match. I could have just as easily taken this thank you and put it on my more geometric pattern, which I've done both sides just in case you wanted to see what both sides look like. I have options. There's so much here to play with that if you're on a budget and you want to be able to mix and match and use and create and make different types of projects without anybody knowing that you're only working with 3 sets, this is a great one because it's got that embossing folder, it's got the dies and stamps, it has it all. And of course then you can flip the embossing folder back over and use the back side of it. It just makes things easy. But I think the most important thing I wanted you to know is that you can take black paper, take pigment based ink, and just make it lovely. And if you really don't like what you did, if you really don't like what you did, once it's dry, you can go back over it and recolor because the ink sits on top. If you're really not crazy about the colors that you did and you're like, oh no, this is so not working for me, let it dry. And then you can go back over the top of it and change it. Maybe you like this better. This doesn't look anything like what it started out to be. You can fix it, even though it's just paper and we all have lots of paper. If you really don't want to throw it away and you want to go back, wait for it to dry, give it a few minutes, and then come back over the top with the new colors that make your heart happy. And fix it. Change it. Make it to what you want. That's the beauty of pigment-based ink. And on black paper, it's beautiful. So, while I wanted you to see the sets that we have that are really a great value, truly a great value, more importantly, I wanted you to see what having pigment-based ink can do for you besides just heat embossing with it. I wanted you to see that it can be so much more, and you can use it with what you already have. And how beautiful it takes just a basic sheet of black cardstock and zhuzhes it up to where it is beautiful. It's not scary or drab or boring. It's beautiful. And you were able to do this with $1.99 ink, black cardstock, your embossing powder or your embossing folders, and some dies. All right, I have a few samples to show you. I think I'm going to end up making this one and taking it downstairs so they can see it downstairs. I think I'll make those. I think I'll take these down and put them on the wall just because I love them. They're pretty. I like pretty. I have a few samples to show you. Not a whole bunch because, of course, these were never made available to a retailer before. So you can't even walk into Michael's or Joann's or anywhere else to find these sets. You can only get them here. How pretty is that? Is that a lovely card? It's got my vintage glam on there. Pretty and easy. Look at this one. Oh my gosh. How cute is that? That is, okay, that's this set right here. That has kind of those weird looking dies that you're not 100% sure what to do with. How cute is that? Then you still have the embossing folder and you still have the matching stamps. Oh my gosh, that is just darling. And then we used the embossing folder for the background. Same set. We used the little hearts, the dies. It came with little heart dies right there. But Yvette took the "You Are Loved" stamp, put it on vellum, and heat embossed it in gold glitter embossing powder. How fabulous is this? And it's using the embossing folder, the heart dies, and the stamp. It just says "You Are Loved." All from a set that's going to cost you $6.33, I think. 18, 19. Oh, maybe it's more than $6.33. That would be 18. That would be 19. So it's $19.99. I'm close enough. Okay, then. Oh, how cute is that one? Don't these just make your heart happy? Just darling. Again, same set. And then this is using the set that I used today. Inked it, so did it in yellow, on yellow paper, and then took darker yellow ink and inked around it to give it some dimension. And then die cut and stamped the flower and the "For You." Really cute. And here's the pineapple of my eye. It's a little treat bag. Just fun. And then we have another one of the make and takes that they're doing. And again, we use the Kaiser Craft pens to color everything in. So they'll be on a YouTube Yummy. They're their gel pens. But it's really the inks on the black paper that I wanted you to see. All right. So there they are. I'm gonna tilt on up. I'm gonna widen back on out. I'm gonna say, all right, you guys, it's me, Stacey, at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and I hope you loved the Sizzix, the Saturday Sizzix Super Spectacular. I think the value is there. I think that the technique on black paper with the Kaisercraft inks is there. And if you already have some pigment inks, get them out and get your black paper out and get an embossing folder out and do it now. You just have to play. But when you see how those inks sit on top and give you that beautiful chalk, luscious look, I think you're going to love it. And the fact that if you don't love it, okay, wait till it dries and start over again. Go over it with different colors. So we're gonna have all of this on a YouTube Yummy for you. Please remember that the bundles, I've got what I've got. I have a lot for a small mom and pop shop. I mean, we took all that Hobby Lobby didn't want, you know, they were done with it, they've moved on. So there was quantity left. We took all of them, but at this price, I hope you like them. All right, where are you gonna find all of this great product? Scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Go to scrapbookingmadesimple.com, look under the YouTube Yummy categories, and you'll find it all there for you. And if you've already placed your order, thank you so very, very much. And if you want an update on the shop that did not hop and the warehouse sale that happened this summer, visit us on Facebook. You'll see some videos there that will show you what's going on here. And I can't wait to see you next week. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.